do a quick live. It's just in regards to the Steelers game and then the results for the Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois fight. I apologize for the lighting. But hey, again, I'm a real person, real situation. I'm not making any excuses. I'm just making do with what I have right now. Okay, so having said that, I'll get right to it. Um, I'll speak about the Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois fight. Shout outs to Cadillac Red for assisting with us being able to view the fight. Much appreciated, brother. Please check his content out. He has several platforms, two of which I'll probably go over. He has BSing on the Beltway. That usually comes on Mondays and Fridays. There are occasional Wednesday or Tuesdays episodes that he'll show. Usually those shows come on around, I would say, 7 p.m. Central Standard for us. Um, and then the views from the lack that he has on, I believe, Wednesdays, he'll show that on 7 p.m. Central Standard, I believe, as well. He has great content. Also, please check out my brother's Jared O. 11 Green, who hosts the Southern Baller show that usually comes on today. Usually comes on around 3 or 3:30 p.m. Central Standard. However, today he's gonna move his episode to Friday at 7 p.m. So y'all please go ahead and check that out. Again, the Southern Baller show is going to be moved from today to Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube. Also, please check out my brother, Coach 67 Sports TV. He has all kinds of platforms where he discusses mostly the Southern University, who unfortunately beat my brother's beloved Prairie View A&M Panthers. I guess for a much needed win for them. Um, at any rate, please check his shows out. Usually, he'll have a show on Saturday around maybe 2 or 3 p.m. Central Standard, also on YouTube. But he also has them on other social media platforms, such as, I believe, now X. And then I believe it's Instagram. And yeah, X and Instagram, I know for sure. I think he may have them on Facebook. Not 100% sure about that, but he does definitely have it on YouTube as well. So please check his content out on YouTube, if anything else. Um, I feel like I'm missing someone, but oh yeah, the General, 78 Sports TV. Please check him out. The General is actually the founder of the LDBC family. Okay, emphasis on family. Um, his content can actually be found all the time. Um, Usually he has a live show at 10 a.m. Central Standard on weekdays. Weekends he'll do a post-fight reaction if it's a major fight. Um, and his reputation speaks for itself. So please check out his content as well. He also has a Patreon page which has some very life changing topics that he discusses in there as well. So, so enough of the opening slash closing credits. I'll get right to it. All right. Um, so as far as the fight that took place in London yesterday between Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua, unfortunately, Anthony Joshua was stopped. Um, excuse me, in that particular fight. The round just kind of eludes me right now, but um, the basic recap is this: Anthony Joshua, um, Anthony Joshua, unfortunately, was the recipient of several brutal left hooks and right hand combinations, um, and he also, amazingly enough, was unable to utilize the jab to cause separation the way that I thought that he might. with my prediction in my shorts early Saturday. Um, so it was not a late round stoppage for Joshua. It was Joshua himself that got stopped. And I do not, I don't have I don't have that much pride to admit when I was actually wrong. I did not think that Daniel Dubois had developed enough to be able to kind of withstand the jab, and also more importantly, the strategy implemented by Ben Davison, um, and Anthony Joshua just executing that particular strategy. For some odd reason, I thought that Joshua may go to the body more. He did not do that. As a matter of fact, he was actually caught up top several times, just trying to awkwardly go in and basically try and clinch his way to victory, which I don't think that was the strategy that they actually had in mind. Um, And of course, it started off early. I think the first round, you could kind of feel like a momentum swing, even though it was a filling out round. And then, of course, the second round was Daniel Dubois actually stunning Anthony Joshua. Now, to his credit, Anthony Joshua did land a solid right hand on Dubois, which I think probably hurt him as well. But uh, clearly, it was not enough. And then, as the rounds actually went on, you could see that Anthony Joshua was more affected by Daniel Dubois' punches than Daniel Dubois was actually affected by Anthony Joshua's. Um, Now, if you let the media tell it, it was a Hagler Hearns type fight for as long as it lasted. It was not. There was a very clear winner in that particular exchange, if you will, and that particular winner was, of course, Daniel Dubois. Um, I was mentioning that since Anthony Joshua kept getting caught by hooks, the other punch that you would want to throw is either a right uppercut or a straight right hand if you can get good leverage on it, or a short right hand rather, if you can get some good leverage on it. Yes, you can also throw a right hook, but I think to really be effective, if you have a powerful left hook, you want to either come back with you either want to come back with a strong uppercut or a strong short right hand, or a quick short right hand rather, that would kind of catch your opponent off balance. But I did not think that Anthony Joshua would not be able to withstand the punches of Daniel Dubois like he did. I thought that he had developed defensively, particularly. I thought that, with the tutelage of Derek James helping him, that he would be a little bit more solid or sound defensively and be able to kind of keep that high guard up. Um, now that I think about it, there never really was any type of head movement that Daniel Dubois had. Not Daniel Dubois, I'm sorry. Anthony Joshua actually had. Um, so, you know, I, yeah, I definitely should have thought about that particular item before before I predicted the fight. I didn't think that. Again, I just thought that the development of Anthony Joshua was a bit more than Daniel Dubois' development, and unfortunately, I think what this has shown me is that fighters, like any other person, if they're under duress, they're actually just going to kind of go back to what they know. And unfortunately, Anthony Joshua knows to try to survive if he's in trouble, and you know I think that the corner should have been able to implement some type of contingency plan or strategy to try to help Joshua along while he just kind of regained himself. But to be quite honest, I don't think he ever did. Um, I think that that left hook really did some damage to him, and it just messed up his equilibrium, and he was just unable to get back on course ever since. Um, I applaud Anthony Joshua for being able to try to get back up after those particular knockdowns. But at the same time, what is very concerning is that he is still unable to defensively adjust, which is a huge problem at heavyweight because at heavyweight, literally the fight can turn with one punch. Um, and you can ill afford to be able to not be defensively sound enough to try to protect yourself from a massive punch. So that is actually very concerning. I'm sure that Coach Davison will work with him as far as the defense goes. And I'm just curious to actually see what's next for Anthony Joshua. I think that my brothers and my sisters from the LDBC have pretty much spoken for me as far as how I feel about him not fighting Deontay Wilder at the time that they should have fought, which was, of course, back in 2017. Both men were undefeated, and both men had all the belts. And had they fought, um, it would have been a massive event. I also and I don't mind saying this. I also disapprove, and if I meet this person in person, then I'm willing to back up my words. I'm not going to be disrespectful, but I will say that Eddie Hearn unfortunately had sabotaged that. And this is not hearsay information. This is information coming from a direct person involved in these negotiations with that particular fight. Once again, I'm not presenting any hearsay information. I'm not doing the whole sources thing. This is a direct person who was involved with the negotiations for the Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight. Um, so this is not some rumor mill or anything like that. This was a direct person involved in that. I'm not going to give their name out because that's not how I get down. I have a certain amount of respect for people when they tell me things, and I'll just try to make sure that I keep the integrity of that conversation. But I will say that Eddie Hearn effectively messed that up, and as a result, we are here several years later talking about what could have been. And on that note, as far as boxing goes, I have recently just gotten with some folks um, that helped me, you know, fall back in love with boxing again. Because to be quite honest with you, the business side of boxing has really turned me off. Um, and I've went back to my first love, which is football, and am very passionate about that, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean, the business of boxing can actually be discouraging to real boxing fans that simply just want to see the best fighters fight the best fighters. I do not think that that's too much to ask, but apparently it is when you are talking to these promoters and these you know these boxing quote unquote executives. Um, if you all would excuse me for just a moment, what I'm gonna do is just do a minor adjustment here, and I'll be right back. All right. Thank you all for your patience, who all's here. Um, okay, so just kind of getting back to football here just for a moment. Um, my Pittsburgh Steelers had actually beaten the San Diego Chargers. It was 20-10. So shout outs to my Pittsburgh Steelers for getting it done. Now, unfortunately, we did have some casualties. I think Alex Highsmith actually got hurt in that particular game. Uh, I think Coach Tomlin mentioned that it was a groin. Hopefully, it's not too serious. Um, but yeah, we would definitely need him back. But shout outs to Nick Herbig for actually being able to step in and play great football. That yeah, the display he actually put on was awesome. The display that the defense put on as a whole, which limited a very potent Chargers offense to -5 yards in the second half. I mean, that's unheard of, to be honest. Especially with a talented group like that. So I mean, shout outs to my defense for being able to completely shut down, like quite literally shut down a very strong Chargers offense. Shout outs to Justin Fields for being able to continue to step in and place us in positions to win, and more importantly, um, even though there was an interception, and to be quite honest with you, the ball was tipped. So for me, if something like that happens, to me, I kind of consider it a freak accident, even though it does go on the stats as an interception. The ball popped up. Najee tried to catch it. There were several Charger defenders there that knocked the ball up, and of all people, Bud Dupree catches the daggum ball. Bud Dupree was a former Steeler. He was on the opposite side of T.J. Watt at one point. And granted, he was a very good outside linebacker slash edge rusher for us. So I guess it's kind of bittersweet. But yeah, I think we still need to watch these things. Like the guys that used to play for us or are very familiar with us always seem to do a great job against our Steelers organization, and I don't like it. I do not like it. But again, I'm very proud of my guys for actually getting out there and then pulling off this win. It was very important that we did so, and we were able to kind of get it done. Now, on another note, the Dallas Cowboys, who never failed to disappoint, originally uh, were getting drugged through the mud by Baltimore. At one point, it was 28-6. Um, I think that I wound up having to do something else, and then I turn around and the Cowboys are actually coming back, but in usual Cowboy fashion, it was just either too little, too late, or they goofed up so much that they just could not get it right. In this case, it was too little, too late, and they wound up losing to the Ravens. I think it was 28-25, something like that. Um, this is exactly the reason that even though I'm a proud Dallas native and I love my city, I cannot stand its football team. Their professional football team, rather. Sorry, I cannot stand their professional football team. They creatively find ways to f things up, and I at some point, because some of these fans are my family members, I feel bad for them. But at the same time, I do not, because these are the same fans that when they beat the Washington Commanders or the Carolina Panthers, they are Super Bowl bound and nobody can stop them. So I just do not get it. I do not get it. And I probably never will, to be quite honest. But I just wanted to come on here, do a quick live, and just kind of at least put content out consistently. Again, I'm sorry for not being able to catch the Thursdays like I'm supposed to. I'm not going to make any excuses, but real life does happen, and I'm doing what I can to adjust to these real life situations as best I can. But, I appreciate all my subscribers for being so supportive. Thank you all so much. I really do appreciate y'all. Um, and you know, hopefully, I'm not gonna say hopefully. There will be some improvements down the road. It's not gonna be immediate, but down the road there should be some improvements to the show. But again, I want to thank all my original subscribers for actually just hanging in there with me and being so supportive. Okay, and again, this is It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Foxx. Thank you all so much for your time. I'll see you later.